What is going on, community? It's TJ, aka Flash by Night, and this is another episode of the Re-Up. Where I show you my new comic book day books, other books that came in throughout the week, and we just hang out. Usually, I try to do this live, but life has thrown a curveball here and there, switched my schedule up a little bit. And so hopefully I'll get back to doing it live sometime in the near future. But for right now, we are hopefully coming up right before Rod the Rican, at Just a Rican and his comics. Hopefully coming up right before his tag team Thursday. If you've never checked him out or the other guys on Tag Team Thursday, drop by Just a Rican's channel about 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern time, or whatever time that may be in your time zone. He basically has a group of guys. They take about 15 minutes each to show new comic books or talk about other subjects that they want to talk about. They call it Tag Team Thursday. I just want to pull out ahead, get in front, be the unofficial kickoff. My schedule is not set enough to try and even squeeze in with those guys. But, if I can get in where I fit in every once in a while, I'll do that. So right now, I'm going to show you a few new comic book day books. I don't have a huge haul. I've got a couple of books I've got to go out and seek. But I have a few here. And so we are going to get that started with Eve number 2 from Boom Studios. I believe this is the B cover. If you have not checked out Eve number 1, Eve is basically a book, I think it's a mini-series about this young girl, Eve, who's basically living this nice life with her family members. And then all of a sudden one day she wakes up in a pod and finds out that she's basically been in the Matrix. And the real world is actually jacked up, and this little bear here, Wesley, is kind of there to walk her through it, tell her about it, tell her what she's really in for. And she is going to try and save what's left of the world. So that is Eve. This is Eve number 2. Eve number 1 was a pretty good start to the story, and so we'll see where it goes. My next book is Justice League Last Ride issue number 2. This book is I'm not sure if it's an Elseworld story. I'm not sure where it fits in at. I kind of assumed that if you read the Future State Justice League, you know that sometime in the future that the Justice League itself breaks up, shuts down, and some young heroes come and kind of reform the Justice League. But they never do say what happened to the Justice League to make them break up. And so this book, I'm 50-50 on whether or not that's this actual story, or whether this is just a different Elseworld story, a different story somewhere else in the Omniverse about the Justice League basically going through its most trying time. I've heard that I enjoyed the first issue, but I've heard that this issue is much better, and so I'm going to give it a read, and I'll let you know what I think later. The next book I grabbed was Web, W.W or W.E.B Web of Spider-Man issue number 1. I also think that this is a Elseworlds tale with a young Peter who's working at Tony Stark's lab. And I guess they're putting a group of smart young individuals together for some task. I don't know what it is yet. Also, I can't remember off the top of my head, but the young man who was in the Iron Man 3 movie and the young adult that was in at the end of Endgame also makes his first appearance in this book. Um, to be honest, I got a couple of copies because they'll probably end up going for sale on the market somewhere. We'll see what it does. I'm trying to get in the habit of making the hobby pay for itself. And I don't think this is something I hold on to, but I picked up a couple of copies just in case. And the last book, yes, last book I picked up for New Comic Book Day is, of course, if you've been keeping up, you know, Heroes Reborn number 6, which is showing a spotlight on Power Princess, who is basically Marvel's equivalent to Wonder Woman. I won't go over the whole Heroes Reborn Squadron Supreme spiel over and over, but I will say I've been looking forward to this issue because I think I know who the villain is of this issue. Like I've said before, I guess I will go over the spiel. The book is kind of a two-parter, or at least the books have been two-parters. First part being a spotlight on one member of the Squadron Supreme, and the second part of the book being Blade recruiting and trying to get the Avengers who never existed back together. I'm really interested in how Blade's doing this. Like if you've ever read Flash Rebirth or DC Rebirth Flash book, and then the Titans book, Wally was forgotten, but Wally went around and he basically touched people and made people remember who he was somehow through some speed force magic, who knows. But I'm really interested in how Blade is convincing certain characters that they are supposed to be Avengers and that the world is not what it's supposed to be. Either way, I've been keeping up with this series. I've had fun for the most part. A couple of the issues have been up and down for me, but it's kept me interested, and I really want to get into this. And that was the end of my New Comic Book Day books, but I do have a few more books that I got in the mail from a certain seller from eBay anyway. And the first book I got, because if you notice, I'll bring it back real quick. For the Power Princess issue, and for most of the other issues of Heroes Reborn, I've been grabbing these sports card variants, and but there were a couple earlier on that I missed, and so I believe this is Heroes Reborn number 2 with Hyperion on the cover. And then Heroes Reborn issue number 1 had 2 sports card covers, and one cover had Blade, which I already have. One cover that I missed the first week was this cover with Mephisto. Now, I am going to probably argue with the idea of putting Mephisto on this cover, because I'm going to let you put 2 and 2 together as to why I don't think they should have put Mephisto on this cover. But he's here, and it's part of the sports card variant group, and so I had to have it. The next 3 books are Wonder Girl number 1, the I think C cover, the kind of blank blue variant. We have a litany of good artists in the comic book YouTube community, and I may have somebody do some work on this cover. I have a few covers that may need some special ink on, and so I grabbed this just in case I need someone to do some kind of Wonder Girl cover, maybe with the Flash on the front, or maybe with the Reverse Flash on the front. Wonder Girl versus Eobard Thawne. Who knows? And then I have 2 issues of Wonder Girl #1, the B cover. I have two of the A cover, but I could not get a hold of the B cover the week of. And like I said, I found a good seller on eBay, and so he had quite a few of these actually. I just wanted 2, and so I grabbed 2 of those. And my next 2, and actually last 2 books from this seller, I had been saying that I wanted on New Comic Book Day a couple of weeks ago. I pre-ordered the books, but they did not come into my shop. Me and Comic Hub are going to have an eye-to-eye, a heart-to-heart talk one day. But I say all that to say that I finally got my hands on the Black Panther #25 Gleason variants. I've been grabbing most of these Gleason variants since he started the whole webhead phenomenon. If you can see back in the corner, I have the red, white, and blue versions. But this version here really spoke to me. It's not a webhead cover. It's a, I don't know, Panther outline cover. I don't know what you call it, but I call it fire. I call it dope. And now I call it mine. And the last book in this particular package is a book I really wanted, because I kind of knew that the Gleason was out there and that I could get a copy of the Gleason in the future, but I didn't know how many of these were out there. And that is the Black Panther #25 Peach Momoko variant. And I know I don't even want to say the words, because everybody says a particular line about Peach Momoko and I'm not a peach person and blah, blah, blah. But that's another tale for another day. But this is not your typical peach work. If you could look at this and look at T'Challa and the actual Panther on the page with the sunset, I assume they're in a tree somewhere, scoping out prey, or in the brush hiding out, something like that. But I love this cover. I knew this is the cover I wanted when I first saw it. And if you don't have a copy, I would suggest looking for one. It's a cover price book. It's not expensive. But yeah, I fell in love with it when I first saw it, and I knew I had to get my hands on it. And so my last book of New Comic Book Day week, because it's New Comic Book Day every day, if you want it to be. So my last new book of the week is a Something is Killing the Children issue #16 variant. There were 100 of them out there, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not really a Something's Killing the Children reader. I've read a few issues, but it didn't hook me like it kind of hooked the rest of the world. But I saw this particular book, this particular variant, and I knew I had to have it, and it sold out quickly. And that is the do we call it the Very Gary variant? The Guarant, if you will. So we're gonna take a second and look at this action. Look at was it Erica Slaughter, I think her name is? Yeah. And check out what is actually killing the children. This is a nice cover. And like I say, if you don't know Very Gary, I'm not sure how you found me without knowing Very Gary, but this is one of his exclusive covers, and it is nice. And I jumped on it. I think it was like $25. It wasn't bad at all. So yeah. that's where we are. And that quickly is what we did for New Comic Book Day and for the week in comics. Um, I appreciate you hanging on, sticking with me. I appreciate you showing up, showing love. If you enjoyed yourself, go ahead, hit that like button. And if you want to keep seeing me and keep seeing content um, from me, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. You can even hit the share button. I haven't asked anybody to hit the share button before, but you can even hit the share button. That's all great. And of course, the comment section is always open. Comments are always encouraged. I love engaging with the community. I love that the community has shown up and really shocked me that more than 5 people in this whole world want to sit here and listen to me jibber jabber about comics. But we are here, and that is that, and I really, really appreciate it. So, as I end all these things, love yourself, love others. It's starting to get hot. Try and beat the heat. And I will be back in a flash.